Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Balanced Business Coach. My name is Tony Robinson, and I am a life coach for leaders, assisting individuals and teams with burnout prevention and recovery. I am so excited you're here today. I'm on episode 20 of this podcast. Can you believe it? 20 episodes. What a milestone. I don't know why that feels so big to me. 20 episodes of this podcast on the books. Who are we? We're a podcaster. Amazing, right? So I'm really excited that you're here because today we are talking about nervous system regulation. And this is something that I talk about a lot in my work because our nervous systems have so much to do with how we respond, how resilient we are, and how likely we are to burn out, and how easy it will be for us to recover from burnout. You know, as dysregulated as we are as humans in general, we are particularly dysregulated in the workplace because the professional environments are weird, professional environments require you to mask yourself. And so when you have stress in the workplace, you have to mask it. And it's like everybody's experiencing these high levels of stress, but everyone's acting like everything's okay. And when you continuously have these high levels of stress, you can actually get addicted to the stress. Did you know that you can get addicted to cortisol, which is the stress hormone, by the way? And this is a total sidebar and not what today's podcast is about, but you can get addicted to your own hormones. Isn't that crazy? So last week on the pod, I talked about how you can get addicted to procrastination because your dopamine levels are so low that it makes you want to get these quick hits of dopamine. And you can do that by procrastinating and doing these smaller quick wins. So the same is true for cortisol, where, there's a couple things that can cause cortisol addiction. Number one is if you grew up in a really stressful environment, anything other than stressful is going to feel unsafe to your nervous system. You're going to be whoa, what is this? This isn't supposed to be happening. This isn't normal. And that's basically what happens at work as well when you are so used to the stress that is constantly coming at you and just living in the world during these times that we're in. It's stressful to be alive right now. And when you live in this constant state of stress, the absence of stress, it feels like something's wrong. It feels like something's missing. And so you almost look for situations to bring stress upon you because you are so used to having stress. Yeah, so how's that for a freaking intro? Oh, the other thing with being addicted to stress is type A, super high achievers, perfectionists, they love the feeling of achieving so much. And oftentimes, a low level, but still stress comes with high achievement because you have to work hard and you have to overcome obstacles. And it's the overcoming of those things and getting a good job, A on your paper, promotions, raise, whatever. It's those things that tell your body yes, we want more of that. So let's do stressful things so that we can get rewards and feel really good. So yeah, that's a thing. But the whole point of talking about that is that when we're in a work environment, oftentimes we are meant to mask our stress, and it creates this really weird situation for our bodies and our nervous systems. So today I wanted to talk about what the hell is our nervous system? What does regulated mean? What does it look like to be dysregulated? How does that show up in the workplace? All of that, I want to answer those questions because I want to be very clear that when I talk about a dysregulated nervous system, or when I talk about here's how we can save the world by regulating our nervous systems, I want to be clear on what all of that is and what I'm talking about. So with all of that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with what the hell is your nervous system? Your nervous system is your body's command center, okay? So it's what tells your brain and your body what the fuck to do. All right, so you have your brain, your spinal cord, and then all of these nerves that are going through your body, and your nervous system is what sends all the messages from here to there. It essentially controls freaking everything. It controls our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our sensory experience, our perception. Like, it controls everything that we experience in our life. So this is an extremely special and important system to have functioning properly. Because if it's not functioning properly, like, imagine why we're all walking around like f***holes. So your nervous system was literally built to respond to stress and to build resilience in the body, because there is the sympathetic nervous system and then there's the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is what activates us. It's the stress response that we hear when we think of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. It's our reaction to danger, right? So that is our like, oh shit moment. And we know that we need to like do something with the stress that is presenting itself to us, especially if it's like life-threatening. Okay, and then your parasympathetic is what calms you down. That is like your relaxation. It's also where your digestion happens. So like if you're super stressed out, people say like your gut health and your digestion gets really like messed up. It's because your parasympathetic nervous system has no time to like process stuff. So you have these two different areas that are working harmoniously to keep us safe and keep us calm. When you're dysregulated, those two systems are like not working together. One is more active than the other, which typically it ends up being your sympathetic nervous system, the one that makes you say, ah, like, what is going on? Life is stressful, okay? That's your sympathetic. So you can remember it because it's like sympathetic stress. It starts with an S, okay? Double S's. That's how I remember it. And I do want to say that there is a difference between dysregulation and your sympathetic nervous system activating. So it's normal for you to have activation and stress in your life. Like, we're always going to have stressors that happen. Things are always going to come up. And our body is actually working when it activates, when the stress response happens. It's when you don't have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system balancing each other out and working together that we start to have dysregulation. The definition of regulation is to control or maintain the rate of speed of a machine or process so that it operates properly. So basically what it means to regulate your nervous system is to make sure that the function of your brain talking to the rest of your body and your sensory experience and your perception and all of these things, your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, that they're all working properly, and that sympathetic and parasympathetic system are working harmoniously. When you're regulated, you tend to be more calm. Your responses tend to be more neutral, or not even necessarily neutral, but they are more grounded. So even when you are stressed by something, it's not like it ruins your entire day. Like, you're able to deal with the stressful situation and then move on and still have a great day or enjoy your day. But you have clear thinking, you're able to manage your emotions, your muscles are not tense all the time. You're managing your life in a healthy way. You feel overall a sense of happiness and well-being in your life. However, on the other hand, when you have a dysregulated nervous system or a highly activated sympathetic nervous system, you are less likely to be able to concentrate. You are going to have difficulty problem solving, which means that your productivity levels are going to be trash. Like, we are going to be procrastinating all the time. We're going to spend so much more time like spinning our wheels, recreating processes that probably like are already working, but like our brains just aren't putting things together. So I was talking to someone recently whose name I will not reveal or identity, and they were telling me how their partner does the laundry in such a strange way because their partner basically takes the laundry out of the dryer, puts it in the laundry basket, folds the laundry, and then takes the laundry upstairs and then hangs everything that they just folded to put it away. So like they're doing this weird in between step of folding laundry, which like, why would you do that? But I hate folding laundry, so I don't know. Maybe it helps them. But anyway, this person is extremely stressed. Like when we talk about dysregulated nervous systems, like this person is the poster child. That is the like difficulty concentrating, ability to problem solve. Like just take the basket all the way upstairs and hang it. You're wasting time. You're wasting brain power. It's not making sense. Like the pieces aren't clicking together. And it's because your brain just is not functioning properly to be able to think and say, this doesn't make sense. Why am I doing this step? But the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because that's what happens in the workplace. You may not be folding laundry in the workplace, but if you have a process that's going on and you are dysregulated and you're like, you're just not thinking properly, you're not thinking clearly, you're not focused, you're going to have these moments where like you're doing something that literally makes no sense. It's getting you nowhere. You just wasted so much time on that thing that like you didn't need to do. And people are probably looking at you like, WTF are you doing? Okay, so that's one thing. It can also cause irritability or moodiness. And so when you think about somebody who's like a jerk face to work with, like they might not be very regulated. They're probably not. And they probably have no idea that that's what's going on with them. But when you have people who snap at customers or they snap at coworkers, like that irritability, that moodiness could be coming from dysregulated nervous systems. So it's really important as a leader or as a owner of a company that if this is something that you notice in your workplace, you want to address the well-being of that person. It's not just like let's put this person on a performance improvement plan, or, let's just address this behavior and tell them that they need to get better at customer service. Like you could teach someone how to respond to customers. You could give them like a template of here's what to say on the phone with people, or here's how you respond to certain things. But like if this person is not regulated or their sympathetic nervous system is like highly activated, then you are not like, it does not matter what the paper says. It doesn't matter what the script says. They're going to operate out of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn situation because that is the state that their body is in. And so there is no logic. There is no reasoning. It's the ability to problem solve. Like if they're in that state, they're not looking at the piece of paper and thinking, how should I respond to this client? How should I respond to this coworker of mine? How should I respond to my boss in this situation? Like they just aren't in the right state of mind. Their brain is not functioning in the right way. So you want to look at it from more of a like employee well-being standpoint rather than a performance issue. And there might be a performance issue. I'm not saying that there's like no performance issues ever, but I do think that well-being needs to be brought into the conversation when it comes to performance, because there's always something deeper underlying why someone is acting the way they are. And then another one is increased absenteeism. Like if somebody is just beyond overwhelmed, beyond stressed, they're going to call in more. They're going to leave early more. They're going to show up late more. They're probably going to have a lot of excuses. So you just want to be aware that if you see those things, might be a nervous system thing. It might be. And I do want to talk about what might cause someone to have a dysregulated nervous system. At the beginning, we kind of talked about stress and how you can get addicted to that situation, and how like perfectionism or your home environment, those are things that could have caused you to just like develop this addiction to stress. It's the same thing with dysregulation. So perfectionism is a big one that can cause you to be dysregulated. If you have too much stress at work or at school and you're super overwhelmed for a prolonged period of time, dysregulation. If you have a history of abuse or traumatic situations, dysregulation. If you have ever had a concussion or a traumatic brain injury, dysregulation. And I know what you're thinking. Tony, this sounds a lot like the root causes of burnout. You are right. You're right. It does sound like the root causes of burnout. They are very similar, and prolonged sympathetic nervous system activation or dysregulation is what leads us to exhaustion. It's what leads us to burnout, because our resilience is like out the window. And by the way, I just want to say, if you are burned out or your team is burned out and you are like, I need support in this, I'm not sure what to do, I just want to let you know all of my contact information for how to work with me is down below. I have a free 45-minute session that is all yours. So hit the link down below. It says work with me, and I will get on a Zoom call with you for 45 minutes. We can talk about what's going on, what the situation is, and I will give you a roadmap for how to heal this issue, or if you want to work together long term, then we can do that as well. Okay, so how can we start to regulate our nervous systems at work? The absolute best way to alleviate stress, to complete our stress cycles, to regulate our nervous systems is to exercise. It just is. And don't come for me. Exercise did not used to be my friend either. Like I could not think of a worse situation than going to gym class when I was in grade school, But I have developed a really good relationship with exercise because I don't make it something that someone else is telling me to do. It's not about following this very rigid and specific plan. It's not to lose weight necessarily. Like I just really love the way exercising allows me to feel motivated in the morning. It allows me to get rid of some stuff that's just been hanging around from the day. Like if I've had a stressful day or something came up that really upset me, I love the way exercising just handles it. I mean, our bodies are so incredible when it comes to actually processing the things that bother us. Our emotions are stored inside of our muscles, our organs. It's just stored in there. And you think that that sounds funny and you're like, I don't know what that means, or I don't really believe that. But when you start to become consciously aware of, I had a really stressful day and I'm going to intentionally go for a walk or run on the treadmill or lift some heavy fucking weights and listen to some hardcore hip hop. When you realize how your mood shifts after you've done that exercise, you'll start to understand that it's never been about keeping up with somebody else or doing exactly what someone else does or following that super rigid plan, but it's really about listening to your body and what it needs from you to process the things that it's holding on to. So if you're feeling super overwhelmed at work, don't just take a lap because somebody told you it's for your wellness. It's for your good. Like, healthy body. Like, yes, it is. But also, it's not about just like mindlessly, I need to take a walk. It's about knowing, all right, I'm feeling stressed right now. So I'm going to take a walk around the building or, whatever you have available to you. Go do jumping jacks in the parking lot if you need to. But it's about intentionally noticing when the shift happens and being able to then say, okay, I'm like walk complete, jumping jacks complete. If I started out feeling super, super angry, super, super frustrated, and now I've gotten to a point where I actually feel some relief. That's when the movement at work really does some magic. Okay. So just know that it's not just about like mindlessly taking a walk, and you can do that. But in this situation, the reason I'm saying move your body is more of the awareness piece. Become aware of the fact that there is something stressing you. There is something that needs to be regulated, and go handle that. All right, breathing exercises is another one. So there's a couple different breathing exercises that I recommend to my employees and people that I work with. A really good one that you can do at your desk that's super discreet is the 5-finger breath. So basically what you do is you just trace up and down each of your fingers. And as you trace up, you breathe in. As you trace down, you breathe out. So it's something that you could even lay your hand flat on the desk and just breathe. Kind of like if you think about like a fidget toy, if you were in a meeting or something, you could literally just start tracing your hand kind of as a fidget toy to start to bring that awareness to your brain, to start to calm down the nervous system, to just really focus your mind and regulate that stress. Another one you can do is sing, and your coworkers might hate me for this one, but I don't really care. I actually used to sing Chris Brown at like the top of my lungs in the office that I worked in, and I did not care. I didn't care because I knew that I was getting some really good work done, and nobody was going to tell me jack, because I knew that what I was producing was top tier. Like, no one could touch this, and it was because I was so joyful when I was creating it. So singing, listening to music, like, you need to do what works for you. You need to do what's best for you. And if what's best for you is singing Chris Brown at the top of your lungs, do you, okay? I mean, obviously you have to be considerate, like if other people are getting distracted or whatever, that's fine. I think most people probably had headphones in. I wasn't really a headphone girly back then. So I would just have my phone on my desk playing, and I would be singing, and it was a great time. If you and your coworkers are super aligned with your music tastes, then maybe you guys can just like play loud music and you all can sing together and have a jolly old time. But if not, then, go to your car and sing a couple songs on your lunch break, or like just, take a few and go sing, just like let it out. That is super powerful. And if nothing else, just listening to music that you enjoy is a really good way to regulate your nervous system at work. And then the last thing is tapping. And I've got a video on this. I will link it here. But the tapping for overwhelm at work is really, really helpful. There's a longer version of how you can tap, maybe not necessarily at work. You could do it at work if you wanted to do it like in your car, in the bathroom. I don't know, shoot. If you want to do it at your desk, great. But there's also like a shortened version of it where if you are at your desk and you just need some quick relief, you can just tap very quickly and do a couple rounds of it, and that will help you regulate your nervous system as well. And then I also wanted to talk about just a couple ways that you can be more regulated in life in general. So if you are really not that stressed out, or you are generally just kind of like a great, easygoing kind of person, number one, you're probably not watching this video right now. But if you get to the point where, you've overcome some of these things and you're like, I don't ever want to get back to that point of burnout or extreme overwhelm, high stress ever again, there are some things that you want to implement on a regular basis that are going to help you in general from getting back to that point, that are going to keep you balanced and regulated long term. So number one is exercise. Again, I know I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Make sure you're exercising and have like a balance to your workouts. So don't always do cardio or always do strength training. Have like a little bit of cardio here, a little bit of strength training there, some yoga. All of that is going to be like such a chef's kiss of exercising in your life. Go for walks, all of that good stuff. That's going to really help your mind, body, and stress levels. Another thing is a healthy diet. So make sure you're getting really high quality protein and high quality fats. That is going to really help your body to process stress, give you really the sustained energy that you need for the day that creates that resilience. Sleep, for the love of God, please get sleep, like quality sleep. Okay. I read something the other day about how sleep deprivation is actually a form of torture. And so let's not torture ourselves and let's just get some sleep. Okay. Also socializing, we have to be around people. I know that the whole 2020 was a crazy year and it really shook us socially. We don't really know how to be around people anymore, and it's kind of weird, but socialization is so important for us. We really need human interaction, in-person interaction. So socialize. Make sure you're doing that on a regular basis, going out with friends, getting together, go see a movie, or have a girls' night in, whatever you have to do to make it work, but just have some time with other adults that bring you joy. Practicing mindfulness and meditation or journaling, doing some sort of mindfulness practice where you are able to sit in stillness and get out your feelings, get out your thoughts. When I first started meditating, you learn to let the thoughts go. Like they say, just let the thoughts pass by, observe them and let them go. And for me, I was like, but these thoughts feel very important. And so it became this moment where I was able to actually sit and process the thoughts that I had throughout the day, like these big ideas or stressors that were kind of hanging over my head. Meditation became this place where I could actually think about them, because we have thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, and we don't actually complete our thoughts very often. We have this split second of, oh, I need to think about that, or oh, I need to do this, but we don't actually sit down and process any of the things that we think normally. So meditation became this place for me to actually process the thoughts that I was having come up throughout the day. And it allowed me to let them go after that, I would process them and kind of think them through. So that was really helpful for me. And then also journaling is so helpful because sometimes you don't always have the words to say, but somehow they just come out through writing. And writing can be very, very therapeutic, getting your feelings out into the world. And sometimes you want to just burn the stuff that you write down, and I think that's great. Flush it down a toilet, let it go, whatever you need to do. But writing things down and just getting it out is going to be very helpful to keep you regulated and balanced in your nervous system. And then 2 more things: limit your alcohol intake. I'm not saying you have to go completely dry, but limit your alcohol intake. The alcohol lives in our body and in our bloodstream for a longer period of time, and it does affect cognitive thinking. So make sure that you just limit it. And then make sure that you are getting vitamin B and vitamin D daily. Make sure you're taking these supplements. Talk to your doctor first about your levels and what you should be taking. But taking vitamin B and vitamin D are going to maintain healthy nerve connections and ensure that the connection between those nerves to the brain are operating properly or functioning properly. Okay, so again, a lot of this that I've talked about today is more prevention based, like bringing your awareness to what is the nervous system. How do I know when it's dysregulated? How do I know when it's just activated? How do I know if I'm balanced? All of those things. What can I do about it? But if you are truly struggling with burnout or a highly activated nervous system, I just want you to know that, like, I am absolutely here to help. So please find a time for us to meet. Click the link that says work with me below and let's talk about it. Free 45-minute, no obligation session to just go through what's going on in your life. How can we get you into greater balance with your nervous system, with your happiness, with your work life, like everything that is kind of just feeling like not so great. Let's talk about it and then figure out a roadmap plan of how to get you back to fulfillment in your life. Because truly, how can we make, if you're a leader or if you work with other people, if you're working with clients, like how can you really make an impact in the workplace if you're coming in depleted every single day? Or if you have a family, like how can you really show up and make an impact on your family and leave an amazing legacy if you're showing up for them depleted and just miserable all the time? So that's really the reason why I do this work. I want people to live fulfilling lives and I want them to be able to leave the impact and the legacy that is going to be truly meaningful to their lives. So again, my info is all down below. I would absolutely love to speak with you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to share this with someone if you thought this was helpful. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and then click the bell notification so you get notified every Monday when I post a new video. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. And until next time, take care.